Behaaloscha Shvi is a sequence of I started from Shishi all the way through Shvi, with which all Yisrael we start to complain that they're tired of eating man, that they want meat like that in Mitzrayim. We remember the fish that we used to eat in Mitzrayim, the kishum and the cucumbers and the watermelons, or cantaloupe, whatever melons, and the onions and the sashum and the garlic, right? And all we have is the man. The man was only dependent upon what the person was capable of grasping in terms of the ways that what it would taste. So Moshe then says, how am I going to deal with this? It's too much. He says, I can't carry these people anymore. Shalom Abba. I can't carry these people anymore. It's just too heavy for me. I can't live like this anymore. I can't live with people who only can complain about things for which they have much better than what they're asking for, and yet they're asking for stuff which is as it could be that they're worried they're going out into the midbar, they're not going to have, but Hashem, they have water, they have command, they have. So he says, so therefore, what's Hashem's answer to Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu says, so you know what? You can't carry them. I'll give you 70 zakanim. Choose 70 zakanim from the people, and you will give them the Shechina. You'll be Mesamech upon them, and I'm going to give a little the flame of Moshe Rabbeinu's nevuah upon all these 70 zakanim. And you'll see that there'll be enough meat, and the slavs that comes down. Right. The Moshe then gathered the Shivim Zakanim. So it says he told there's 12 machnas. He told 6 people from each, six Zakanim from each machna, from each of the Shvatim. 72. It says 72. For Yishorish name machna. So 2 of them, Eldad and Medad, chose to stay in the machna. They chose not to go out. They said there can only be 70. We're 71 and 72. Instead of a girl of choose who's going to be left out, we'll be Mabater. But skipping the psukim, that's the Nad, Yeshua. Rashi says who came running to is Moshe. The elder made are having the bull because the machna, the Shechina rested upon all 72 zakanim. So he said, listen, they're going to Chazal that they're saying the Moshe Meis Yeshua is going to lead Bnei Yisrael into the middle. They're being given the nevuah. Moshe Rabbeinu shut them up, stop them from giving the nevuah. And Moshe's response to them is, Moshe, are you jealous of me? It would be halav that all of Bnei Yisrael would be neviim. Hashem's rest upon all of Kol Yisrael. Okay. Then comes the Slav, and all those who ate from the Slav died there in Kibbutz Hatayv, and they left Kibbutz Hatayv, a place where all these people had yearned for these other we call food luxuries. And immediately after that comes, and this is already in the tree already, but the and then Miriam starts to Aaron talking about Moshe about the Isha Kushis, this beautiful woman that Moshe was married to. And Chazal tells, Rashi tells us, Aloidas Isha, because Moshe gave her a get, gave Zipporah the get. Why? Because Rashi tells us, because the post I would. Says they tell her that Zipporah, when she heard that the Shivim Canaan all had Nebuah, so she said, "Oy these poor, the wives of these poor men, the poor wives of these some of these men, because now they'll be Nevi'im, they'll probably do what Moshe Rabbeinu did, they'll all divorce the wives so that they could keep the Nebuah."
Why Moshe divorced his wife?
So, right, so Rashi then says, that's right. So this was the thing. Moshe Rabbeinu was so much different. That's what Miriam and said. When Aaron is saying, Moshe Rabbeinu is so much different. All of us, we all heard the voice of Hashem. We're all Nevi'im.
Why did Moshe divorce her to begin with? Didn't
But Yom Hashem, peace about Moshe Aaron. So Hashem says, Moshe was the most humble person upon the face of the earth. So Chazal tell us that Moshe, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu to go tell Bnei Yisrael after he came down from Har Sinai, after he brought down the second luchos, maybe something after the first luchos, but it depends either way. I tell them before they went up to Har Sinai, when Moshe went up to Har Sinai, he told Bnei Yisrael they have to be purged from the wives, they have to separate from the wives, because they had to be kodesh in order to receive the Torah of Har Sinai. So it's understood that the Nebuah was so strong that they had to be kodesh. They couldn't be with wives. So then after at this point they were forbidden. So Hashem tells Moshe to go shuva lachem alechem. Tell them to go back to the tents for ato poyam moedi modi. But you, Moshe Rabbeinu, can't go back. You have to stand with me. Moshe Rabbeinu has to be ready for the Nebuah 24 hours a day. So Moshe said, if that's the case, then there's only one answer, that's to give her a get. To give her a get. So Zipporah complained to Miriam. It says, they're going to want to be like Moshe Rabbeinu. They already got the Shekhinah directly from Moshe Rabbeinu. Hashem took Moshe Rabbeinu, they would say, like from one candle to the next. One candle lit all the candles, all of them had the Nebuah from as Moshe Rabbeinu did. So Zipporah complained, says, look, my husband divorced me because he has to be ready for Nebuah. So these poor wives of these poor men, the poor wives of these men, they're going to lose their husbands. So Miriam said, why is Moshe Rabbeinu different than all the rest of us? They have Nebuah. So Hashem then says, he calls together Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, and he says, I want you to come all out to the oil maid. The Shekhinah appears upon the Mishkan, Amud Anan, and he says, Aaron and Miriam, I want you to come in. I want to talk to you. I said, Moshe Rabbeinu's Nebuah is different than all the rest of the Nevi'im. Moshe is not like all the rest of the Nevi'im. Moshe Rabbeinu is comfortable in all of the different chambers of Shemayim. Moshe Rabbeinu can go wherever he wants in Shemayim. Mouth to mouth, I have spoken to him, and I gave him a division, and it's not in riddles. Hashem Yabed Moshe Ben was able to look directly at the Shechina. Why are you not afraid? Speak Russian heart about Moshe Rabbeinu. So Rashi points out a very interesting Rashi. Rashi says, "What does the pel dav by mouth to mouth? I spoke to him. What does that mean? We know that we're told Moshe Rabbeinu was told panim el panim adav boy. Moshe spoke to Hashem face to face. What's pel adav boy? Mouth to mouth. I spoke to him. So Rashi is very simple. It's a tremendous Rashi. Rashi said, when I told Moshe to be separated from his wife, I told nobody else. This was just between me and Moshe Rabbeinu. I spoke to him, I whispered about Moshe Rabbeinu, said they can go back to wives. So you never, Miriam and Aaron never heard that. That this was something that Hashem gave to Moshe Rabbeinu personally. It wasn't something that was told to all of Klal Yisrael. So you're talking about Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is different than all the rest of the Nevi'im. How do you compare yourself to Moshe Rabbeinu? So Lama Yeresim he told him, he says, when I told him this, you should have trusted him. You should have trusted Moshe Rabbeinu that when Hashem the Moshe would never do anything, Hashem did not tell him. So he says, so you sure, of course, Hashem appeared to all of Klal Yisrael. All of Klal Yisrael Nevi'im. Moshe Rabbeinu had a personal message. I thought, you have to Moshe Rabbeinu, you have to stay here with the Shekhinah 24 hours a day. And Hashem got angry at Aaron and Miriam, and then the Shekhinah left. Pasuk. Yud, so then the cloud, the Anon lifted off the oil. The name Miriam Tzeras Kashalig. Miriam was white with Tzeras. But even Aaron and Miriam Behine with Tzeras. And Aaron turns to Miriam, and she has Tzeras.
Right away.
Yeah.
Wow.
Aaron al Moshe. We read Yom Kippur. He says, Hashem, please don't carry your sins. We were foolish. We were foolish. We sinned. Don't let Miriam be like a dead person who's going to be excluded from the Machan, because it's a mitzvah, can't stay in the Machanos. He says, you could take a thing out. Moshe cried out to Hashem, the shortest tefillah that's found in Torah, Hashem, please heal her. There's an interesting Rashi. Take this, the Rashi on Pasuk Yud Beis, in the middle of the Rashi. Hashem would say so. That when the person is sent out of the machanos, the baby comes out, the mother, this was tantamount to death. Another pshat. Altina kameis. Moshe, if you can't heal her with your tefillas, how will she ever go out from Tzeras? Tzeras requires a kohen to go to the person. Aaron says, I can't go do this for her. Shani Karav, I'm her relative. And a relative who was a kohen can't go be matar a nega.
Moshe be matar.
Tefillah. She said through tefillah. Here's the kasha. Miriam spoke lashon hara to Aaron, and Aaron didn't. You don't see that Aaron protested. So Aaron is part of Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara requires two people.
Why did he become Tzuras?
What?
Why did he become
So why did only Miriam become Mitzvah? What was the Aaron's punishment? And the Efshar, I can't see her to be Matahir. Ain't Koyres and going, but Koyan Acher, ain't Ba'elim. There are no other Kohanim that are not her relatives. Right? So you see that because we came out of from the same mother, so I can't be Matahir from her.
Right? Oh, those are his son.
What?
They're relatives.
The sister, brother, sister. It was the sister.
The nephews.
Nephews are.
The nephews also Kohanim, also relatives.
Oh,
That's it.
So I said, you know what Aaron's punishment was?
That he couldn't.
For Aaron to say, I cannot help another Jew.
Oh, you've shown very much.
Oh, you've shown Rosh. Aaron is the person that's filled with compassion. He has to say, Miriam, I can't help you. I'm your relative. I can't do it. I can't be a kind of Matayim Mitzaras. That was the suffering that Aaron Cohen experienced. That for somebody like Aaron Cohen to say, I can't help you, was the ultimate agony for Aaron Cohen.
No.
That's Rashi jumped out of the page. Jumped off the page. The only way she's going to be happy with it, you have to daven for her. Moshe daven for her. 7 days later, she become Tahar. And then Bnei Yisrael waited for her. Miriam stayed outside of the Machna for 7 days. But Amlo is not Miriam. So if you follow the sequence of the parsha, just like a summary of this, yeah. Bnei Yisrael complained that they're not happy with what they have in the Midbar. Moshe Rabbeinu says, I can't carry them anymore. It's too much for me. It comes to Moshe Rabbeinu. I sent you on a mission. Don't you trust me that I'll give you the ability to do it? Hayad Hashem Tikser was Hashem's hands short. Right? So Moshe says, but it's too much for me. So Moshe says, you know what? Moshe, I'll give you 70 as a canon. You put 70 in the VM. Will that make you any less? When one candle lights another candle, does the first candle become any less? Says Moshe, you have to know that you are on a mikol adam, that what you're talking about is you're questioning your own ability to be the shliach. Okay? Says, I told you, right? I told you, I have an agreement with you, just you and I. The rest of the class is going to go back to their homes, to their wives. Moshe, this is just between you and me. This level of kedusha that Moshe Rabbeinu was able to achieve was only between him and Hashem. So then, when Miriam and Aaron spoke lashon hara about Moshe Rabbeinu, saying he's just like all of us, Hashem said, "No, Miriam and Aaron, you don't understand what that means. Moshe Rabbeinu's madrega is not madrega that no other navi will ever be able to have. So therefore, Miriam, you have to step outside the machna because she's a tzuras, and Aaron's have to say, Miriam, the only thing that can help you is Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillas. Moshe, because he's the honor mikol on. Moshe would never take it to heart. Moshe Rabbeinu would never feel that Miriam had done something to harm him. Watching her harm somebody. Moshe would say, harm me. Moshe was on the he would never take exception to it. He would never say, she spoke lashon hara about me. It's a prayer about the Moshe Rabbeinu's madrega. It's on Nivas on the Adam would say that, and there's an opinion halacha that if you know that the person, the Shulchan Chaim brings it down. It's a whole discussion in Hilchos Lashon Hara. If you know the person will not be bothered with what is being said about him, it's not called Lashon Hara. Lashon Hara is only to something which will harm somebody else. Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, you have to know Moshe will never be hurt by something that you said about him. So it's not Lashon Hara. If it's not Lashon Hara, so Miriam will have a little bit, she'll have to go through this touch of Lashon Hara, and Aaron will have to recognize that Moshe Rabbeinu is Adam Mikol Adam. and that Moshe Rabbeinu's Madrega can heal that which the pain and suffering could not. Somebody who feels that the pain and suffering could, because Moshe Rabbeinu would never feel hurt by it.
And that's not halacha?
Yeah, it's interesting halacha. It's some machlokes in Lashon in Chafetz Chaim. It means that machlokes in Rishonim. Lashon hara is only if it's going to harm somebody.
Harm or bother?
Bother. If it bothers somebody, if it's something that you heard, somebody said something about you, it bothers you, that's Lashon hara. But somebody who said, I tell you, yeah, there's Moshe, but you know why it's not real Lashon hara? Because Moshe, Moshe was a humble person, he will never let it bother. So this is just the Klal Yisrael reach a new madrega to be able to know that they can trust that Hashem will give them everything they need, including all the direction that we need, and they don't think it gets in the way. Is our own lashon hara, because otherwise.